Sounding off in the sanctions bill against North Korea, Iran, and Russia that passed on a 98-2 vote. That bill now goes to the president's desk. He has not committed publicly whether or not he will sign it. Republican Adam Kinzinger live from Capitol Hill to talk about this. Sir, welcome back here on America's Newsroom. Will he sign it or not?
Yep, I think so. Passed so overwhelmingly in the Senate and the House, he has no choice, and I think he understands it's the right thing. Is
that because it's veto-proof, or is it because he's had a change of mind?
Well, I think it is veto-proof, so that's going to be important for this. But I also think he understands, and what we've heard out of the administration is they believe that somebody, even though sometimes they question whether it was Russia, we know it was, tried to interfere with our election, and there needs to be consequences for that.
So Moscow's responding already. They say they will retaliate. So where does this go then?
Well, I think you're going to see a couple of things if Moscow does retaliate. They have already talked about the number of diplomats they have here versus the number we have in Russia. I would assume they're going to start expelling some American diplomats. But they don't have a lot of leverage outside of that. I think the thing we have to realize when we think of Russia, we often think of, the old Soviet Union, in essence, our equal. This is an economy about 1/15 the size of the United States, so they don't have quite the leverage. In fact, they don't have at all the leverage we do in doing these kinds of things.
Okay, so the extension into North Korea and Iran had been debated as well. Those countries are included in this. How much more can you sanction them in order to change their behavior if they haven't done it already?
Well, that's a good question, and I think the answer is more, especially with Iran. You look at the issue of their development of ballistic missiles, which was kind of an area left untouched by the Iran nuclear deal, but that's exactly what they need once they get nuclear weapons to deliver them on an ICBM. And the same situation exists with North Korea, but there's no doubt the sanctions are going to have to extend to Chinese companies. That's something the administration is going to take under account and really have to be tough on some of this. This is on all these fronts.
I just don't see behavior changing, and if that's the case, you go to more serious options.
Yeah.
And what are those discussions all about there?
Well, look, it works to an extent. Even if it doesn't compel different behavior, it has an economic impact. And when you have an economic impact in certain sectors of a country, it makes them a less effective antagonist because, again, now they don't have the resources to do it. But I think it's incumbent on us, whether it's Iran's meddling in Syria and other places in the Middle East and threatening Israel, or North Korea threatening the world, frankly, it's essential that we do everything peacefully we can first before we look at those next options, because those next options, none of them are really that good.
No, okay. Sir, thank you for your time. Adam Kinzinger, the Republican from Illinois. Now the sanctions bill goes to the White House. We'll see what gives there. Thank you, sir, for coming back.
You bet. See ya.
Shannon.